And then you've got things like statues. I mean, let's call James Cook a racist, Winston Churchill a racist. I mean, these are just dreadful labels that are, well, not true and not reasonable. Statues stand for things. We should be able to talk about these things.
Well, the original demonstration, which was peaceful originally, against what was done in Minneapolis and was legitimate, has been absolutely usurped by others who have a different agenda altogether. I mean, when you saw the boxes of stones being put down on the footpath in New York for people to throw, then the police had to come along and remove them, and you see the boarded up shop fronts. This has nothing to do with the original legitimate claim. This is to do with people who want to destroy the very fabric of our society. And we really do have to fight it hard. And when we're dealing with people who want to pull down statues, I said they'll be burning books next. People who want to destroy music. People who are trying to say that you can't see various programs that have been made, and let alone the famous movie Gone with the Wind. It's important that we stand up against it and say, no, this will not do. No, we're entitled to free speech, because free speech enables you to avoid war and avoid conflict, because you can have your say and be heard. And if there's a genuine cause, action can be taken. But if we are going to bow down before these people, we are finished. So we have to find young people who do not bow the knee, young people who have intelligence, young people who are learned because they are learning and understanding not only our history, but the great tomes of literature that is part of the canon of Western civilization, and not apologise for it, laud it, say what's good about it. This is what we have to do.
Yeah.
If we say we're finished, we just rot from within.
Yeah, I think the we, Daisy, means that all parents and grandparents should be talking to their children and their grandchildren. This is the conversation that families should be having at family gatherings about these sorts of values that manipulate a person's conduct in a positive way towards other people. This kind of putrid hatred, Daisy, we have to strike it down. Otherwise, every TV show that had any moment of parody, and I mean, heavens above, the episode on Don't Mention the War, the episode of Fawlty Towers, the Germans, has been pulled by the BBC. Apparently you can't watch that anymore. They only made 13 shows and they've dropped one of them now completely. I mean, really? Is it that crazy?
Look, I'm very concerned at the point of history we're in, because of course all the things we've mentioned about, you know, tearing down statues and labelling historical figures racist, like they can be judged by today's standards for the things they did hundreds of years ago. I mean, that's all well and good, but what's been happening is we know that, you know, on the subject, I guess, of burning books, it's a similar thing. There have been a number of programs that have been taken down off streaming services, I'm guessing from the pressure of activists, and also because of this sort of brand of woke capitalism. You know, big corporations like Netflix and Stan and you know, HBO Max, for instance, they all want to be sort of included in this trendy kind of Black Lives Matter bandwagon and get more attention, and also to insulate themselves, I guess, from a potential advertise a boycott or aggressive campaign by this sort of, you know, noisy minority of outrage mongers who are kind of on the rampage at the moment with a bit too much time on their hands. But to me, it is extremely insidious. I mean, some of the shows that got taken off Netflix, BBC, etc., were Little Britain, for instance, because of its use of the white actors dressing up, you know, in, or to put it bluntly, blackface, although not minstrel shows. A lot of Chris Lilly shows, for instance. Summer Heights High got taken off. Jonah from Tonga, of course, because Chris Lilly portrays the Tongan schoolboy Jonah Hill. You know, Angry Boys, another one where he plays a black rapper called Smouse, etc. And Gone with the Wind was removed for sort of ambiguous reasons. They said, HBO Max said they were going to take it down and then put it back up, but with a kind of disclaimer denouncing its apparently racist depictions of things and a discussion of why it was all so horribly wrong. But my argument here, is that the people who are sort of supporting these bans, they actually don't understand the material. I mean, if you watch Gone with the Wind or read the book, you'll find that the book doesn't actually glorify the Old South at all. It presents it as ultimately vapid and indulgent and meaningless and better left in the past. And the heroine of the plot, Scarlett O'Hara, is a sociopath. She's about the most unlikable literary heroine you can find, you know, and certainly in the case of Jonah Hill, I mean, that's a really wonderful representation of the issues that a lot of disadvantaged kids and Islander kids have at schools. You're going to tell me that all that wonderful storytelling is somehow offensive because of a bit of brown face paint? I mean, but none of it makes sense, and it is insidious.